Good morning, everybody. It's like 7:25. I went and got me a cup of coffee this morning. I think it's Tuesday. So, been watching a lot of Facebook videos lately, and there's a lot of people coming out, and it's quite interesting the times that we're in because I want to, I don't want to, I don't want to, but I want to bring up to people because somebody had mentioned something that makes perfect sense. Well, but they're mostly talking about Trump. But if you look at the other party, it's the same way. So this is about the political parties. But the thing about it is you know me, well, you should know me by now, that I don't vote for either one. I see Republican and Democrats doing the same thing, as each other. In other words, it's whoever's got the power. Conservatives. Okay, so you got conservatives for the right, and you got liberals for the left. So we've got two extremes. We got one that's too conservative, but aren't really conservative because they spend just as much as, take for instance when they did that debate, that Nikki girl. She sounds, whatever her name is Nikki, that woman. I think I may end up voting for her because she is. I don't know. I like her answers. I like her answers of being honest. Honesty of saying that the Republicans spend just as much as the Democrats do. She was honest in saying that $2 trillion that got passed was passed by the approval of the Republicans. So while they're blaming the Democrats for this, $2 trillion being passed or whatever. But the fact is that most of the Republicans agreed for it to pass. So again, we got to look at everything. So what I was talking about is a cult. We know what a cult is. Like these, some church people, like I think it was, what is his name, Marilyn Manson or whatever. You got people that try to persuade a group of people or a society to vote for this, or not vote for this person, but that follows this person, right? Well, if you look at the Trump followers, the conservative ones, right? They're like worshiping Trump like he's a god, and even there was a couple of videos out saying that he is a god. Which is kind of disturbing. Remember I told you, like, I think it was last month, that there was two guys that got on there about Trump being on his indictment and stuff, saying that he played Jesus in some recent movie or whatever, and he goes, I'm Jesus. And he goes, Trump is Moses. And, so he's calling out all these biblical characters, a who's who, which is kind of interesting because I'm sitting here and I've just come in and discovered myself, my relationship with God, who I was in my past life, and it's taken me, close up to 58 years to figure this out, even though I had ideas, but, we all have ideas about things, but we don't know for certain, right? So when we get to these Democrats, right, they're being, like in a cult, the LGBT type of, that type of cult. You've got, and cult is short for culture. Culture, we know what culture is. It's every society, the way they spend, the way they eat, their traditions, like that. And culture is also a bacteria, either good or bad. So it's quite interesting how our words that we are given by God and the things that, that we're being shown has more meaning than anything else. And then I was looking up yesterday because I was thinking about, remember I was telling you about planting the 3 C's, Judaism, Christianity. Oh, before I jump too far. So you got conservative and liberal, and I think the middle one is moderate. I think that's what the middle one means, and that's where we should be, in the middle pillar. And I think it means moderate, which we should be. because they're not coming together. The people aren't coming together as Republican and Democrat. And when I was saying about Trump keeps everybody divided. The Democrats are doing this, Democrats are doing that. Instead of, saying that us Republicans and Democrats should pull together, speaking in that tone, of bringing in the other party, bringing them in instead of opposing them, rejecting them, they're this or this. So in other words, moderate means compromise. It's like the mighty angel who stood 1 foot on the water and 1 foot on the land. So our right foot is the water foot and our left foot is the land. So the two Pisces, the two fish, right? The mighty angel with 1 foot on the water. So if you look at King Solomon's star, which is quite interesting that I want to mention. So you got the star, so it goes. So if I move out my arms straight out like this, I don't know if you can see them, but if I move my arms straight out across and open up my legs, you go straight across. It's like the Star of David, the Star of Solomon. I think it's David or Solomon. I think it's Solomon, King Solomon. But if you take the King Solomon star upside down, it's the worshiping the goat. So how do I want to show you this? Okay. Because it's very important that we look at these symbols and how they're trying to represent them in the world today. So you take the King Solomon star. Let's see if I can do this real quick on something and show you. So you see this star, that's the King Solomon star. So you have, this would be our right arm. Oops. See if I can hold this like this. So this would be our right arm. So it'd be fire, air, water, our right leg, land, our left leg. And then up here is our head, soul. So if you flip this upside down, see if you can, where's it at? Oh, it's down there. If you flip it upside down, you got the two legs up in the air. Oops. You have the two legs on top, which looks like two horns and a nose right there. So what they've done is, remember the hangman is that we're hanging down into the world. So it's like a hangman kind of like thing. You're flipping the sign over to be like the sheep or the devil's horns. So when they say King Solomon's evil, it's not. He's not evil. It's the people who've turned his sign upside down into the devil. Right side up, you got the Solomon star going straight up. So it's in the signs and the symbols, right? So we got to look at every little detail. So it's like saying your feet are sticking up instead of you standing straight up. Because remember, the Fool's card is the 0 or the 22nd card. And it means playing the fool. It means taking a leap of faith. It means just walking like the fool, going through life. Being aware of everything around you. Taking notes and everything like that. And remember, the F in fool is interchangeable in Hebrew. The F and the P are interchangeable. In Greek, it's the F and the PH. But so you got the F and the P in Hebrew. So if you change the F from fool and with the P, it's pull, right? Playing the pull. The pull is like the eternity pull. The immune system pull, like the Egyptians where they went into this pool as old and they go, go in the pool and they come out. It's like, I think on the Mummy 3 in Shangri-La, where they go up into this mountain, and it's an eternity pool where these people have been living for, she's like, been living for thousands of years. And and she gave up her immortality to, to defeat this emperor, which turned himself into a dragon. And if we look at the way we are now, we have China, it's like the emperor of China, and his large army. Well, it shows, it gets taken down. And remember when I told you about China, CHI is chi. Chi is the 22nd letter in Greek, which means the keys, and Na is number 11 on the periodic table for sodium. So, anyway, I know I'm just rambling on there, but I wanted to put out a message to try not to get caught up in these two parties, because remember, they're two extremes. Conservative, which really aren't really that conservative. They're only conservative on certain things. See, you've got to be able to take apart your own party. You got to be able to see the negative in your own party. You've got to be able to dig just as much in your own party as you are in the other party. You can't overlook and say that this party has done all these criminal acts and it's okay for him to do these criminal acts, but it's not okay for this person to do, or, when they're both doing criminal acts. That's the thing that people don't want to wake up from. In a way, it's kind of like a trap. It's seeing who is going to, who's actually looking for God, who's asking for God's help. And the majority of the people they're praising and looking at Trump as a god. They're looking at Trump as some type of king. They're looking at him like some type of savior. That's what it is. And that's what somebody wrote on there. He's like Jesus. He's being sacrificed for the rest of us. I'm like, he's not Jesus. I said, didn't you read Revelations when Jesus says, many will ask, he's over here, he's coming in my name, and all this stuff. I don't know. Anyway, just a quick message to get people, put this, plant a seed into everybody about when we look at everything, we got to look at, are we really Republican? Are we really that conservative when we're not really conservative in our life? Are we really that liberal by being a Democrat? Because a lot of Democrats out there still don't go for, the LGBT thing. They just don't want to change their party because they're stuck in their party. And they refuse to see any of the dark that they're doing, right? It's like my family. They're that way. And that's just from about 10 years ago. Oh, maybe when it was, when I joined the military back when I was like 21 or something like that. I've never really voted or gotten into that type of thing. And I was like, I don't know if I'm a Democrat or Republican. I don't know, because I really never really researched it or checked them out. Really, I didn't really even notice the difference. Even though I knew that there was two parties. But when it come time to vote for them, I happened to call my mom. I'm like, are we Democrat or Republican? Or, because I didn't know if it was a family thing or what. She goes, you are a Republican. Or no, you're Democrat. You will not be anything else than Democrat. Well, then I started talking to my little brother, and he goes, we can choose whoever we want. We don't need to do what our parents said. And I was like, oh. So this is kind of interesting to mention, because imagine a lot of people out there that are stuck in believing that their particular thing, because their parents have told them, you are this, or if you're not this, then blah, 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 you're not part of the family or whatever. So you've got that type of thing going on as well. But yeah, I just flat out told them, no, I'm Republican. And then, I think it was 2 years ago, right before the 2020 election, I changed myself to environment or something like that. There's another branch. I don't even know what I did, but I took myself away from the Democrats and Republicans because I'd seen it getting crazy. And then when I look today, I see the Republicans, okay, seeing how evil, tearing around and torturing, not torturing, but just being obnoxious, in their party towards the Republicans. And then now I see the Republicans doing the same thing the Democrats are doing, kind of like fighting back. So I was leaving comments like, you can't fight evil with evil. You got to fight evil with good. And people are giving me all kinds of responses saying, no, you got to take evil out with evil because it's the only way evil can be defeated. Looking at their logic, I'm like, so I put a scripture, I think it was Romans 12:21. To fight evil, you've got to be good, right? You got to fight it with good. And that's pretty cool that I remembered that verse, probably because I just posted it yesterday. But it's the whole fact that I would like to plant the seed today for us to look at things very closely, because the trickery, just like they're talking about the Maui fires and how everything got disintegrated. They're talking about up in Canada, the fires, remember about 2 or 3 years back, I think it was in 2020, that California got that big fire where it melted down that whole town. And a lot of people are saying that it's from lasers coming down. And, I can see it. I totally can see it because in one of Simpson's predictions, it shows a red dragon going down on the land and burning up the land all over, which is quite interesting because these are all signs and symbols trying to show us what's happening. So when we think about red dragon, think about sun. And I think a sun or mirrors. I think mirrors are doing it because we know that the mirrors can, something to do with that. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because things are not what it seems. Things are not being portrayed as they really are because both parties are fighting for their leaders, and they're bringing and spending all of our money, just like that. They're trying to bring in this lockdown again, which is crazy because they've already spent 2020, 2021, and 2022 disproving it and saying it would never happen again, that this is all wrong and what they did was wrong, and all the Fauci emails and everything. And then now, was it last week, that they're saying prepare for September 1st, we're going to go back down on lockdown for COVID. Now, how could that possibly be? How could all these agencies already start putting it out there before it even takes effect? So again, it's like they're preparing the people, they're telling the people, and the people, there's already people going, we will not comply, we will not. And that's why I get upset about the government too, because the Republicans have more majority of the House. This should have not have flown because they're the ones who tore down this, COVID. And the thing about it is that really ticks me off is that they spent a lot of our government money with all these hearings, all these court things, all this stuff to prove that it's wrong and it was fake. For 3 years, we've spent all of our government money, all of our taxpayer money, for them to run these trials and prove these things wrong, and then they throw it back at us again, saying, here comes another wave. Well, the only way the other wave's coming is if they inject it in you. That's the only way. And we've never had, right before fall, any type of outbreak. It's always they inject you with the flu shot during the fall for the springtime. So anyway, we got to be vigilant, right? We got to be vigilant with our body. We've got to be able to take care of our kingdom. And that's another thing I was getting laughed at yesterday is that people can't see their body as God's kingdom. We got God's breath. God breathed his breath into us. We have his atom. within us. We have his heart. We have his body image. It's kind of interesting how they cannot see the body as church, the true church, but they can see something built on the land in God's image and worshiping, when God says in Exodus clearly not to do that. So again, that's what I'm saying about the trickery. The church tricked you into doing these things that are against God's laws. And of course, it's built on the land of Lucifer, right? Lucifer is the god of the land, because remember when Jesus was roaming for 40 days, Lucifer, he was fighting with Lucifer, and Lucifer was telling him, I'll give you everything on the land if you bow down and worship me instead of God. I can give you everything on the land, because he owns everything on the land, and everything on the land is pretty much worshiping. If you worship anything on the land, so it's like the rituals and stuff like that. That's why the rituals should be done in our mind's eye, within our body, our self. But it did kind of bother me that people would laugh. But the more I think about it, I'm like, these people are fucking stupid. They are just so stupid in this world. I know I cussed. I haven't really cussed pretty much on my channel. But the stupidity and the bullheadedness and the stubbornness and the laziness of not doing the research or the work or watching them, they're being tricked. It's kind of like programming. It's literally programming. That's how Hitler got the majority of the people to follow him, was programming. I don't know. That's my little spiel for this morning. And, I don't care who you vote for or what you do. I'm just saying that we need to be a little bit more smarter and stop following others, and stop following the people, and stop following this world script that they're playing, and get back to God's script. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Have a happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday.